Hello, I'm Jennifer Witt, Director of ProjectManager.com. Well, welcome to our whiteboard session today on how to play to your strengths on a project. I get this question all the time because if you think about it, project managers are tasked with doing multiple things with multiple skill sets and a lot of different styles of thinking. So if a project manager can learn to leverage their strengths, then they can really get further on a project and find other ways to collaborate and pull other resources in. So let's see how we do that. Well, first of all, you have to know what your strengths are. And so it takes a little bit of discovery time and effort in order to find out what those are. And the lucky thing is today there's several tools that we can use. So first of all, when we look at our strengths, we want to know, is the project manager detailed oriented? Are they results oriented? Are they people oriented? There's all types of strengths that we can look at here, but these are just some examples of some high-level ones. So what are some good resources to know? Well, there's several out there. Here's some just to name a few. So there's Strength Finders. There's a little book called The Strength Finders 2.0 by Tom Rath, and you can Google it and find it, and it's a short book, and it gives you an assessment, and it comes up with a list and gives you your top 5. That's one way to look. There's another one called Optimize Your Thinking, and it looks at your thinking styles. So that's another way you can look at your thinking styles. Another one you may have heard of already is the DISC profile and Myers-Briggs. Again, there are many of these tools that can be used, but once a project manager starts looking at their strengths, they can really begin to see, am I good at looking at details? Am I good at putting different pieces together? Am I better at working with people? Really, where are my strengths and where are my weaknesses? So there are multiple applications once you know your skills and your strengths. So for instance, let's look at these applications. So the roles of a project manager, for instance, a project manager has to manage the projects, but they also have to lead the teams, or lead the people. So that can get into multiple different skill sets, the right brain versus the left brain. Some people are better at some than others. So the task that you have to do to manage the projects is definitely different than leading the people, inspiring them and motivating them, getting them to buy into the different things that we're doing. And so definitely you'll use different strengths, and where you have weaknesses, you will either want to strengthen those or partner with people who have strengths in those areas. What we try to get you to do, again, is leverage your strengths. So play in the areas where you have the strengths. If you look at the deliverables of a project, project managers have to produce reports, financials, processes, and those things. Again, there are areas where there are different strengths that project managers may or may not have. And if you don't have those, again, either try to build those, but again, we really recommend you play where your strengths are. If you look at the phases of a project where there's initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling and closing, if you look throughout the project, there are different things that are needed. For instance, in initiating the project where you just have a high-level idea of what the project is, you really need people to be able to be creative and ideas and figure out how are we going to go about creating solutions for this. And then once you get into planning, it's more detailed oriented, figuring out how all the tasks that have to be done, the dependencies, the milestones, and then executing, keeping your team engaged and following you so they can produce the deliverables they're responsible for. Monitoring and controlling, again, producing detailed reports and tracking the details. And then in the closing, really wrapping up things, making sure everything meets the customer needs. So throughout the projects, you're also leveraging different parts of your strengths. So if you're not detailed oriented and a lot of this requires details, again, you want to partner with someone. You want to find someone in your group or your organization who can help you do that. And also, if you're looking at issues on a project, well, different issues come up. Again, where we're either creating a solution, we're recovering failures or failed projects. You're maybe building teams. Maybe you've got to get your team to cooperate with each other, coalesce, work together, collaborate, and those definitely take different skills. So by understanding what your strengths are and really playing to those strengths, you can begin to be a better project manager, get better results on your project, and also stand out and begin doing more of what you love. If you're looking for a tool that can help support you and help you find your strengths and manage your projects more effectively, then sign up for our software now at projectmanager.com.